Yo, what is going on, guys? Pothead here, and today coming back in with a not an episode of Opiate Odyssey, saving that climactic ending for y'all, making you wait on the edge of your seat. But I'm coming in with a substance review today of cocaine. So before we get into that, follow me on Instagram at Pothead. Buy something off my website, hopelessdomore.org. Really helps the channel if you do either of those things. Like the video, subscribe, turn on notifications, all that, YouTube shit. So the way I did coke for the first time, I've only really done it like a handful of times. And it's all been with my homie who does a ton of coke. He used to live with me, and I used to pick him up after work. And one day he didn't have any tip money to give me gas money, so he said he'd get me high. I wasn't too sure about it, but I didn't have any drugs, so being a fiend, I was like, all right. So we get to the house, eat dinner, then Willie comes over. And this is at the time when we were making music. I don't know if any of y'all have been around with me that long when we used to make music, but oh my god, that was a wild time. And Willie just got back from Denver skating, and he met our lean plug, and he brought me a deuce, so I was hyped. So we pour up, go upstairs, and start doing the music. I only poured up like an ace because I wanted to drink some in the morning, but you'll see how that goes. After like 3 hours of trying beats and trying flows and shit, Chris busts out the coke, and he's like, here, this will make this easier. I was like, what, really? He's like, yeah. So he starts breaking it down, and immediately once he starts, I was a giant rock. Like, knowing coke now, it was so shiny and fish scaly, but I didn't know anything back then, so I smelt it, and I was like, whew! It smelled like straight gas. Like, it was like the gassiest coke I've ever smelled. And I don't know much about coke, but he told me that's how you know it's good. So he makes 3 lines, one for me, one for him, and one for Willie. Mine was tiny, and his and Willie's were huge. So we do these lines, and immediately I feel this coke hit my nose and just go up my nostril and down and back into my throat. And it was crazy. I could feel my eyes like dilate. And we just start working on music so much faster. Like, I'm typing at like 1,000 beat fucking words per minute. Like, they're fucking speaking at like 1,000 words per minute. Like, we're making music faster, but not better. Eventually, we just started to do the rest of the coke and not work. So we break down more. This time, all even lines. I was like, yeah, give me that shit. First line you do of coke, like, if it's good, like, you're going to be hooked immediately. So that's the problem, because you go up for like 30 minutes, and then you come down, you need more. You need more immediately. So I do this line, this huge line, and I was geeked. I was like sweating. I had to take my shirt off, and I was almost like clenching my jaw like Molly style. Like, it wasn't like that bad where my jaw was like back and I couldn't talk, but definitely felt it in my face. So we started to play with this soccer ball in my basement that I just had for like straight up hours, just kicking it at each other, like, and just railing lines off our phones. We stayed up until like 7 a.m. just like watching TV, taking dabs, finished the rest of our lean. Well, I drank my lean, Willie drank his lean, and Chris didn't do opiates, so whatever. And yeah, we really didn't do shit, but it was like around until like 7 a.m. And I drank all my lean, like I said before, and I was like floating, but not like zoned out in my head. It was like a crazy combination that I don't recommend you try at home, but it was definitely an experience. So eventually we decide, it's almost 8:30, so we should probably go get breakfast like regular human beings. Let's try and act regular. So we go to IHOP for breakfast, and Chris drove us, and his car is like a huge old Buick, so it's super comfy. And I was in the back of that bitch, like nodding off, but like not nodding off. It was so weird. And we get into IHOP, and they like, my friends like shake me into reality. I'm like, I get out of the car and I like stumble up the fucking stairs, like open the door, like scratching my eyes, like, what the fuck is going on? And we go and we get seated by the waitress, who is like really nice to us. She was young. I think she knew what was going on. She at least knew we were fucked up. And we order so much food, and we literally eat like 1/20th of it, like none of it. We spent like $120 in that bitch, and we probably ate like maybe a meal that would feed one person normally. So we pay, we get back in the car, and I get back in the back seat, and they're like, Max, don't fall asleep this time. And I'm like, okay. And I just fell asleep. And then I wake up, and then we're at my house, and they're like shaking me again. I'm like, oh fuck, where are we going? And they're like, we're home. And we get going to my house, and Chris still had like half a gram out of the like 8. He might have had more than an 8-ball, but it was at least an 8-ball he came with. So we do the half gram. We literally break it in 3 lines. We all snort it, and boom, I'm wired again. And we were up until like 1 p.m. making music, doing like regular shit, you know. And then my body just gave out, and I fell asleep standing against a wall for dead ass an hour before Willie and Chris like realized that I was like not like playing and like I was actually asleep. So they like took me to my bed and like carried me like fireman style and fucking laid me down, and I woke up in my bed and I'm like, whoa, what happened? And I slept for like a straight like 16, 17 hours. And the next day I woke up and I was like, whew, that was insane. Like my head like really hurt, mostly because of all the lines. I think that was the first time I ever put anything in my nose too. So it was like that kind of hurt too. But other than that, the hangover wasn't really that bad. I did have some cravings for it, but that being my first time, I wasn't really like, I was still kind of high. Definitely off the lean, I was still high. So that whole day I was faded anyway. But I had some cravings for sure, but not really anything too bad. You know, I would rank Coke probably like a 6 out of 10, I would say. Not really my thing, but if you get some good Coke and you get some good friends who want to do Coke, maybe some girls in the mix, that shit definitely is fun. It's not good for you by any means, and you shouldn't do it with opiates like I do, but that shit is awful for you. I don't do it anymore, don't worry. But that shit is terrible for you. It makes your heart do backflips, especially Xanax. Xanax and Coke is a weird, crazy, fun combination, but it is so bad for you. So bad. It will land you in jail and it will kill you. It makes your heart do fucking front flips, back flips, side flips, make twists, you name it. That bitch is crazy. And yeah, I have definitely been in the most McDonald's at random hours of the day on Coke. That is for sure a fact. Just because you end up doing weird ass shit on Coke. Definitely turns you like crazy, especially if you bender that shit. Like my homie, oh my god, he's crazy. Like that shit is definitely done the worst to him. But, you know, if you want to do that shit recreationally, go ahead. I don't really, you know, I'm not encouraging it at all. But if you already do it, like, you know, I'm not going to stop you. I'm not going to tell you to stop. Just don't do it, like, addictionally. I don't know, like, habitually. Like once every, like, week, 2 weeks. Don't see a problem with that. Once every day, you're going to get fucked. Because, for one, if you're doing expensive Coke, that is an expensive habit. And for two, you got to be doing expensive Coke. Otherwise, you're snorting fucking meth or baby powder. Or cut Coke is an epidemic. That shit is almost worse than press pills. Like, that shit is crazy. Like, almost every single plug you see is cutting their Coke. Because they buy it from somebody, and then they have to stretch it, and then they sell it to somebody, and they have to stretch it, and they... so on and so forth. So, that shit is just... be careful. Have fun, be safe, and above all else, subscribe to Pothead. Tune in for new videos. Tune in for new live streams. We just did an 800 subscriber live stream. Thank y'all so much for 800 subscribers. At 1,000 subscribers, you guys know the deal. We're going to tell the Shoreline story. That shit is a long-ass series, so I know y'all want that shit. I know y'all like the series content, long-form shit. I'm going to try my best. I still have a shitty-ass computer, so I got to make these videos short. Otherwise, they take too long to render out and make. But, yeah, man. Thank you guys so much. I really want to do this shit. So, appreciate it. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you. Peace.